All right, my friend. Hello, and welcome back to the Magic Mindfulness Podcast. I am Rachel Hupp, your host, and today we are diving into Yoga 101, your top 10 beginner questions answered. So, if you are new to the world of yoga, you might have some questions, right, about where to start and what to expect. Now, it's hard to believe, but I have been practicing yoga for over 25 years now. And as an experienced yoga teacher, and by that I mean I've taught over 1,000 hours of yoga in the last 9 years, I've heard it all. So in today's episode, I want to answer 10 of the most common questions that I've gotten from beginners when they're first starting out on their yoga journey. So, from what to wear to how to breathe, I'm going to cover everything that you need to know to start your yoga journey with confidence, right? So, you can roll out your mat and get started. Now, before I dive into these top 10 beginner questions, I just want to give you a little bit of a behind the scenes kind of look because I've been teaching yoga, like I said, for 9 years now. And who knew when I started this yoga journey, when I started teaching yoga, that I was going to have to learn so many things behind the scenes to run an actual business. So, from web design to marketing to copywriting and more, it's been a really, really fun ever evolving journey. And so, if you get my newsletter, you know that I've been working for quite some time now on updating my website. I'm actually migrating my website to a new host, and I'm having a lot of fun along the journey, mostly fun. Some frustration, of course, because it's not my forte, but I'm having a lot of fun along the way. I'm learning a lot. And so, as I was going through my old blog posts and, making sure that all the links still work and updating the images and the colors to match my new branding, I came across a blog post, Yoga 101, your top 10 beginner questions answered. And, as I was thinking about it, I was like, wow, I have not covered this on my podcast yet. And for somebody who is new to the practice, like I remember when I first started out on my journey, I kind of stumbled across yoga by accident. But when I first was ready to go to a studio class, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't really know what to do. And so these are some of the questions that I've asked myself, some of the questions that my students have asked me. Um, and so without further ado, let's go ahead and hop on in and we'll chat a little bit more along the way. So, Yoga 101, your top 10 beginner questions answered. What should I wear to a yoga class? Well, that is a really, really good question. My invitation to you is wear something comfortable and stretchy, something that allows you to move freely that you feel comfortable in. You don't want clothing that's too baggy or clothing that's too tight. So let me give you an example. When I have shirts that are too loose and I go into like a downward facing dog, the upside down V, my shirt tends to like fall down over my face, right? When I wear something that's too tight, too constricting, it makes it hard for me to feel like I can move freely on my mat. So wear something that's comfortable, something that's stretchy, that allows you to move freely. Nothing too baggy, nothing too tight. That being said, I do practice in my pajamas in the morning. And so, you know, go with the flow. Most people practice yoga barefoot. Some people do wear non-slip socks. One that I like is a Gaiam. It's called a grippy yoga sock. And so if you look that up online, it's Gaiam, Gaiam. They have a grippy yoga sock, but I'm sure you can find them anywhere if you just search for grippy yoga socks. So the concern with wearing regular socks is that you need to have that stability. You're certainly welcome to wear socks if you want to. Just be very mindful so that you don't slip and hurt yourself. All right, so that answers what you should wear. Basically, you just want to be comfortable and able to move. Next up, do I need to bring my own yoga mat? That one can vary quite a bit. So I think it's always a good idea to check with the studio or the teacher beforehand to see if mats will be available for you. Most yoga studios do have mats available. They're either for rent for a reasonable price or they provide them for free. They also tend to provide a mat cleaning spray and wipes of some sort. Now, I will say that bringing your own mat does have the added benefit of having a familiar surface to practice on, and that can help you to feel more comfortable and stable during your yoga class or during exercise. And on top of that, using your own mat can help to reduce the risk of just coming into contact with germs or bacteria that may be present on communal mats. So if you have your own mat, you're welcome to bring it in most situations. I don't know of a case where you wouldn't be allowed to bring your own mat. But again, it never hurts to just check in with the studio or the teacher beforehand to see if they have mats available for you and what their practice is. All right, next up, what if I am not flexible enough for yoga? There's a meme that goes around and it says that saying you're not flexible enough for yoga is like saying you're too dirty to take a bath, something like that. In reality, yoga is not about being flexible. It's about working with your body. It's about working with your breath. It's about meeting yourself where you're at. If you practice regularly, there's a good chance that you will become more flexible over time. However, you can practice where you are as you are right now, and your teacher should be able to offer modifications to help guide you to move in a way that honors and serves your body exactly as it is right now. So there's no flexibility requirement for you to start your yoga practice. You can start exactly as you are and then just see how your flexibility changes over time. A lot of people ask me, what kind of yoga should I try as a beginner? And I'm going to tell you there's no one size fits all approach to this question because it really varies depending on your current fitness level, your personal goals, your personality. Like, for example, if you have a really hard time being still, you're not going to want to try a restorative yoga practice right off the bat because that involves longer holds supported by props. So it's great for beginners. But if you have a hard time sitting still, that's not going to be a very pleasant experience for you right off the bat necessarily, right? So I usually recommend that people either take a yoga for beginners class, if that is available, or try a hatha, a gentle yoga, or a yoga one, or yoga for all levels. Those are usually great choices for beginners. They focus on basic poses and breathing techniques. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to the yoga teacher directly or to reach out to the yoga studio to make sure that all of your questions are answered so that you do feel comfortable with this practice. All right, next up, my friend, how often should I practice yoga? Again, there's no one size fits all approach. A good recommendation would be to start with 1 or 2 classes a week and then gradually add more as you become more familiar with the routine and the practice. On top of that, there are many online resources available for beginners to start practicing yoga that only require a few minutes a day. So, like, for example, I get a lot of requests for short yoga practices to fit into a very busy day. So, on my YouTube channel, Yoga and Wellness with Rachel, I created a playlist, Zen in 10, and they're all yoga sequences, yoga practices that can be completed in right about 10 minutes or less so that they can easily fit into a busy day. So you can start by searching for beginner yoga videos on YouTube or even using a yoga app on your phone. So for example, I have the Down Dog app. I love it. I love taking in-person classes. I live in the boonies. I live out in the woods on the top of the mountains. So I don't drive the 35 minutes to a yoga studio all that often. I prefer to take classes, a live stream online or via YouTube or via my Down Dog app. Or I'll just do my own thing and kind of explore and flow. But as a beginner, you're probably going to have a hard time figuring out, where do I want to start? Where do I want to move? So having that guidance from a YouTube video or a yoga app or a live stream class or going to a studio is really going to be helpful and supportive for you. You can look for videos that focus on basic poses and breathing exercises if you want to. And again, feel free to start with shorter sessions and maybe gradually increase the length, the difficulty of your practice as you feel comfortable doing so. The most important thing is to remember to listen to your body and take breaks as needed. And again, if you feel inspired, I'll invite you to come over and check out some of the free yoga sessions that I offer on YouTube over at Yoga and Wellness with Rachel. All right, can yoga help with stress and anxiety? Yes, absolutely. In fact, I am actually taking some continuing education right now on neuroscience and yoga. And they're talking about all of these studies that have shown how beneficial yoga can be to support us in dealing with and managing stress and anxiety. So always check with your doctor. Make sure that this is the right for you. It can be very complementary to what you may already be working on with your doctor, but do check with your doctor and make sure it is right for you. Yoga has been shown to reduce stress, to reduce anxiety levels because it helps us to promote a deeper sense of relaxation, mindfulness, self-awareness. So yes, absolutely, yoga can help with stress and anxiety. But again, make sure you check with your doctor to make sure that that is a right venue for you and how you can best support yourself on this journey. Okay, next up, should I eat before I go to a yoga class? I will say that it's best to eat like a light meal or a snack an hour or two before class. You kind of want to avoid heavy meals right before you practice because they can cause discomfort during your class. So the best guidance is to, eat something light. All right. Will yoga help me build strength? That is a really good question. And the answer is yes, yoga can certainly help you to build strength because it uses your own body weight as resistance in a variety of poses and sequences, which can really help to target and strengthen different muscle groups. Not only that, but practicing yoga can improve your overall body awareness and alignment, which can also help to enhance strength and stability. Now, this is an interesting one. Is yoga a religious practice? And I'm going to share a quick story with you. When I was in my yoga teacher training back in 2015, one of my teachers told me that she was teaching in a gym. And so she would often say at the beginning of class, the sound Om is considered a universal vibration. Energetically, we can use that vibration to realign on an energetic level. And so she would say, we're going to start and end our class with the sound of, and she would let our class know, this is not a religious practice. This is, it's a vibration. It's a sound. And so she was teaching one day and somebody came into the class late. And so they missed her spiel at the beginning of class. And so at the end of class, when she went to wrap it up with the sound of, the woman started chanting instead of saying, "Oh," the woman started chanting, "Jesus." And at the end of class, she rushed out, and the teacher didn't get a moment to address the situation with her to make her feel more at ease and more comfortable. So, just to share that with you, yoga is not a religious practice. It does have its roots in Hinduism, but it is not a religious practice. Yoga is a physical practice, it's a mental practice that promotes overall health and wellness. All right, so the last question that I want to address for you today is, can I do yoga if I have an injury or a medical condition? And so I will tell you that many individuals are able to practice yoga with an injury or a medical condition. However, it's always important to consult with your doctor before you start yoga if you do have a medical condition or an injury. And be sure to inform your teacher of any limitations or concerns before class. Now, I dislocated my shoulder many, many years ago. And so for a very long time, I had to adapt my practice for my shoulder. I broke my hand, a bone in my hand this January. So it's September as I'm recording this, and I still haven't recovered 100%. So I've had to modify my practice. I haven't had to stop practicing by any means, but I have had to be very mindful to modify my practice. And back in 2016, I took an adaptive yoga class where we actually learned how to help people who were disabled in a variety of ways, whether they're in a wheelchair or I went to the class because my mom had suffered a stroke and I wanted to know how I could support her in her mobility issues at the time through yoga. And so many, many people who have injuries, disabilities, medical conditions can practice yoga, but your doctor and you are going to know your body best. So make sure that you're checking in with your support team to make sure that this is right for you to support you on your journey, my friend. I want you to be able to start your practice with confidence. So if you are new to yoga, don't worry. It is normal to have questions. It's normal to have concerns about where to begin and what to expect. But with the right guidance, with a positive attitude, starting your yoga journey can be enjoyable and a rewarding experience. So I hope that by addressing these 10 common questions that yoga beginners have. I hope that this episode has provided you with some knowledge and some confidence to take your first steps towards a healthier and a more mindful lifestyle through the practice of yoga if you are just getting started. And again, I've been practicing for over 25 years now, but it never hurts me to go back to basics. It never hurts me to remind myself of these things. Just this morning, I went to go teach a yoga class, and the first pair of leggings I put on was a little extra snug, whatever that means. And so I was like, I'm not going to be comfortable in these. I'm not going to be able to move freely. I'm going to be self-conscious. And so I changed into a pair of leggings that was looser and more free flowing so that I could feel like I could move with ease in my body on my mat. And so that's just one personal example. But if you have questions that I haven't addressed here, come find me on Instagram. I am Rachel Hupp. And you can just shoot me a DM and I will get back to you. I'll be happy to answer your questions. And again, you can join me on YouTube if you want to. I teach a variety of online and in-person yoga classes that are multi-level. So I do try to make them very accessible to beginners. And then I have the Zen Space, my monthly yoga membership. So you can join me there too. I teach 4 live stream yoga classes a month, usually on Monday mornings. 7:45 to 8:30. I'm a morning person and I work full time. So that fits right in before I start my work week. But yeah, lots and lots of ways that I can support you on your yoga journey, but there are so many different talented yoga teachers out there. So whether my teaching style resonates with you or not, take your time to find a teacher that really resonates with you. You can find the most amazing classes. Not every one of us yoga teachers is going to be the right fit for every person who comes into our class, but you can find the right fit for you. All right, my friend, we have covered quite a bit today. We've talked about 10 beginner questions answered for starting your yoga practice. I hope that this has been helpful for you, whether you are new to the mat or whether you are just getting back to basics. All right, I'll see you in the next episode, and I wish you a beautiful day.